Empire's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Team Empire's turn to pick.
Faceless Void.
Radiant team pick.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Manila Major Qualifiers. We're here in the European region on day 1 of 2 for the playoffs, getting ready for our second match. We just got done witnessing No Diggity take care of business against Vegas Squadron, and now we head to the other side of the bracket where we'll be Team Empire facing Ad Finem. I'm LD. I'm joined here by Mr. Draskell himself. Andy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing better now. I'm a mister now. I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah, we got rid of Owen, that cheeky little bugger. You know, we've stuffed him on the panel with Tober. And
it's hard to keep him in one place for too long.
Here.
10 seconds remaining.
So, Ad Finem taking on Empire here. Best of 3. Draft's just getting underway now. Do you have a favorite as far as the team go? Do you view it as an even matchup? Thoughts on the teams?
I believe that the last matches these teams played together, Empire actually won. So I mean, just from that track record alone, we play. I think it was. I would probably favor Empire a tiny bit, but it's not by a wide margin. I think it's just Ad Finem. They've been together for a while, but they've still been really struggling to find their style in this new patch. And hopefully, with what they're bringing here, which is vastly different from what they were picking before, we will actually have a chance to see them come into their own.
Yeah, speaking of the picks, they are very different. I mean, we've seen the teams kind of bring their more, their more comfortable picks to the table here. Like, yeah, the Yapsor Enigma getting a lot of priority in the last series. Obviously, that worked out beautifully. Empire, they're going to go for something a bit different. Their own right. Void first overall pick. Ad Finem with the Slardar Bane reply. So they will not be getting their Bounty Hunter, their IO, the 2 picks that they really had a lot of success with at Dream League. And the Enchantress now grabbed by Empire. So this has kind of been the replacement hero for me that Ad Finem like. The Bane, it seems like their new go-to roaming support when they can't get the IO or the Bounty Hunter, and they've had pretty good success with it here so far in the qualifiers.
Yeah, it's a do stuff hero. I really think that most of the time, you know, regardless of whether it's Spartan or MNT or maybe next time, you just want a hero that can actually go around and either zone the offlane or actually accomplish something in the early game. Because in the last series, it was a really good example. You know, Yapzor gets so much out of his early game that Vega are forced into a position where they have to pick a hero that can take something away or at least play almost as greedy. So that's, like you said, the solution here for Ad Finem. But the opening of Faceless Void Ench, it was actually standard like not too long ago, if you think about it. Like we've kind of come full circle. People were picking Void a ton, then it kind of fell off for a bit, and now we're back to first picking Void again. And Enchantress, even though after the nerf, still great synergy with the Chronosphere, still gives you really good push potential as well. So pretty solid here from both teams.
Yeah, like you said, full circle, probably the best way to describe it. So, entering Phase 2, Empire, they are going to ban out the Riki and the Mirana. Now, the Riki was actually being used, I think it was by Ad Finem, after Bounty Hunter got banned. They had a game where Sauce Spartan got his IO in the group stage, and they would use the Riki kind of like a ghetto bounty hunter. So he would scout out to relocate ganks, he would chase the Enchantress around the jungle as well in the laning stage, and just kind of serve that nuisance role, getting deep wards down. Maybe not as effective, you don't get the track gold, but the Cloud actually came in handy quite a few times. So Empire, they've done their homework, and a very targeted ban there heading into phase number 2. The Mirana also getting removed, and more purple heroes now into the field of battle. As Ad Finem will grab the Witch Doctor, Empire, they reply with the Lion.
I really like the picks here from Ad Finem though, because I think the Ench is going to have a hard time getting anything done. Like, Witch Doctor is really good against the Ench in general. The creeps, you just throw out a cast, you know, 5-second stun on them, they can't do much. Bane is pretty much the same, you can just Nightmare one of them and just walk it off. So all the lanes right now of Ad Finem are extremely hard to gank, and this drafting phase is actually going fairly quick. So, I mean, the Darkseer Slardar combination, that's always going to be potent as well. Just really depends on what they're going to pick Thug now, because I think that's the last tier that they need. I mean, I'm thinking even Wind Ranger is always going to be an option when you already have the Slardar. That's a combination that I would love to see. But I guess they're going to get one more ban, so Empire might take that one out. And if that's the case, then it could just see like the Queen.
How about TA? They've actually run it 3 out of their last 5 games.
Oh yeah, they have been doing that, haven't they?
Yeah, do you think TA is a good fit this game?
It's alright, actually. There's not really any way to break through the refraction. Gives you good Roshan potential. I mean, with Slardar and TA, you pretty much just kill Rosh instantly. So, that's always going to be nice to have. The only hero that I don't necessarily like it against is Ench. And that's just because you don't, you know, you can't really hit the Enchantress, right? It's just one way that, or one hero that you can't really do much to. But against the other 3, yeah, it's great.
Alright, well, let's see if they consider it. Empire, less worried about that. They will ban the Ember Spirit, which they had some control for, but still not wanting to deal with them. So, 5th pick now, Empire. They have good team played here, the Puck, the Void. We have seen, I think, what have we seen? We have seen the Puck Spectre do a lot, but it could be even like a 1-position Void potentially. Some teams have been running that. I think Empire did it at least once so far.
They're going to need some damage in Sphere, I think. I guess they have Ench and Puck, but I don't know. I feel like they are probably just going to end up putting the Faceless off lane in this game. Because the problem with the safe lane Void is that you actually just don't do damage for such a long time against these really beefy cores that you're kind of just only picking him for the Sphere with this type of lineup. And if you're only picking him for the Sphere, then putting him in a farming position just doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot more for you.
So what do you like here? There's a Gyro that comes to mind. Anything else?
Gyro's probably the best mid-game that you could get. Oh, they're gonna go with the push orientation, okay, they're just gonna go for the Jug. So it's not really about the Chronosphere and the Jug together, it's more just about having Healing Word, I think. They want to be able to pressure that way. It secures them a little bit of an easier Roshan, and they also have like a better high ground because of it too, where if you look at their composition, like their going high ground is very difficult. And it's funny because that's actually something, you know, I talked to the Ad Finem guys at We Play, and I think they're notorious for picking lineups that just cannot go high ground. And it kind of seems like both these teams are having a similar draft in that regard.
Yeah, what was the quote from them that I think when they got interviewed, that they just want to win by like 25 minutes or less. Like that's their goal every game. Just
they play like MVP
they have to go
basically. Like they have the same ideas about how they approach the game. It's just that MVP pick heroes that transition better into the late game. And yeah, there's a TA that you were talking about. So obviously still very good. Against Juggernaut Omni, you can't really, you know, break through the refraction. You have to rely on spin. So from a draft perspective, I think they're about even, but I think Empire have to do more in the early game.
All right, well, all heroes getting selected up now, so we're gonna see. I guess it's a Ramses juggernaut. But I think that really the player so far of the qualifier for me has been Afterlife, who had some spectacular performances in the laning stage, especially on his Nature's Prophet previously. Then he's gone into the more utility like setup role when he needs to, whether it's the Void or just any sort of team fight specialist. So the man has been getting the job done for Empire. He'll need to step up here. And over on the side of Finem, taking their time. Thug will be on the TA, as you mentioned. Has that cute Darkseer combo with the Iron Shell, the Surge to work with. And a hero that is a lot more popular now than he was a couple of weeks ago, Slardar. Is it just the armlet? Why do you think we're seeing so much more Slardar nowadays?
The armlet's a lot of it. I also think it's because the pace of the game is a lot faster now, and Slardar, I mean, in the early game, you're going to see a lot of fighting, typically. I would say the No Diggity series that we just saw was probably an exception. Both teams seemed pretty passive, and they just wanted to farm it up, but that's not the norm, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of the time, it's just running at people, and having the synergy between, like, your offlaner, like we see a lot of Darkseer still, if you can get both of those heroes, then it's just fantastic. You get this safe lane hero who can initiate for you. He's extremely tanky. He also makes it so your team just does insane physical damage due to the fact that you have Amplify. So he just kind of fills a lot of niches that these lineups really do need. And also, like, the armlet thing is fairly substantial. I mean, the thing costs almost no money now to make. I think it's like 2320 or something like that. Yeah, it is dirt cheap.
Yeah, I'm just surprised they don't give you money for deciding that you want an armlet. But
that thing used to be like, what? Wasn't it like 2,800 at one point or something?
Yeah, and it was still a really solid item that we saw a decent amount of at one point. But
yeah,
I guess it has seen some nerfs over the past year and a half or so. No more insta toggling like the good old days.
That was so OP actually. Like back when they had scripting for the toggles, and you pretty much just couldn't kill the hero that had armlet unless you had an actual damage over time.
You would have like frame perfect toggles basically.
Yeah,
it was like straight out of Melee. But here we go. Add Finem versus Empire. Best of 3. Winning team will have the day off and will be playing against No Diggity tomorrow. The losing team, well, they're going to have to go right up against Vegas Squadron. So we get underway. Add Finem on the Radiant side, and it will be Empire on the Dire. Like, Empire going to be heading up towards the top rune primarily, as they did rotate Miposhka and Afterlife down towards bottom. Where do you think Enchantress is going to focus her attention, Andy? Is there a particular hero that you want to shut down, just to see where the winds take you, or what's your game plan here?
I don't know, it's kind of weird being Dire, I think, because killing the offlane tower is not really that useful. Like, that tower does nothing, pretty much. The Radiant Tier 1's still the least valuable offlane tower in the game. But I think he probably tries to pressure the middle lane a bit. It's not too hard to get a decent creep and kind of force the TA back, you know, make MNT come mid with the Bane and just try to be annoying that way. Like, pressuring the safe lane also seems a little bit difficult. Slardar is extremely tanky. Witch Doctor is good against your creeps. So yeah, I think mid will probably be his focus most of the time.
Alright, Bounty Rune now being grabbed by Thug as well as Scandal. Scandal, we saw his puck at ESL 1 Manila, had a spectacular showing against Team Secret, so...
Yeah, that boy good. Real good at puck.
Scandal's back. I mean, there was a period where he was, I think, playing better mid Dota than literally anyone else in the world, and certainly than anyone else in Europe. Kind of fell off the radar, but he is certainly back now. It's South Spartan. Uh-oh. He's in pretty deep. Gonna chuck out the cast. Doesn't get bounced, though. Afterlife, beautiful body block as they move forward. Even orbing with Scandal. They want this first point. The donkey gets involved, too. Unfortunately, only the level 1 time walk, so doesn't quite have the chasing potential, but pretty close there to getting a first blood with the body block. So top lane as well. Skylark under heavy harassment. They might lose their Darkseer to this one. Has the salve, should be able to at least cast and survive, but it's gonna be real close.
Dude, how does he not salve
that? What the hell?
If he didn't get a stout, I'm pretty sure he was dead. That is ice cold. Like, how do you not I definitely would have salved there.
It looks like it was gonna kill him, but yeah, I guess he gets the stout shield block and just barely lives.
Oh,
so,
Scandal.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Scandal almost
What's
died,
happening
too.
right now?
Everybody's just got a death wish.
This is really kind of frustrating for Scandal. Like, he gets into the situation where he chases Spartan all the way, like, past bottom rune, doesn't get anything out of the lane. He's already in a mismatch, and the Bane is camping mid. Like, this is the worst situation to be in as a puck player.
Yeah, this is why Finem have been enjoying the Bane, I think, is it kind of does what a bounty hunter, you know, / IO in the way Spartan plays it can bring to the table, where he puts a lot of pressure on the enemy mid, enemy cores, and whether it's Spartan, whether it's maybe next time, like you said, they do like these pressure supports.
It's really good because I think that like the best thing about MNT is he has really good game sense in the early game, so he can like go around, find the other supports, know exactly where the rotations are coming, and just make sure that he can either stop them before they start, or he can just help you like win your laning phase. He's even getting some efficient ancient stacking whilst also checking the top runes. So everything kind of going well here for Finem in the early game. Really surprised to see Miposhka's actually bottom lane.
Oh, they are sweeping around on the Scandal. Maybe next time he's going for this one. Has the haste turn. Might be able to get the solo kill on Scandal. Jukes in the trees. Oh, those tower shots though. They do hurt, so he's going to be forced back, but that was damn close. And Scandal is not having fun next time. He just wants a little tomato action. He'll get some on him, but does not manage to finish off Scandal. So he backs away. Still, mid lane looking pretty secure at this point. 12-7 on the TA, 4-1 on the puck, with Scandal having no regen, no bottle. Running for his life here. It will finally if South comes out, but this is about as bad a start as you can have in the mid lane.
I guess they just are deciding to sack him, but I don't know if I agree with that, because Afterlife, I mean, he can sit in this bottom lane, they're not going to kill him. Sure, he gets zoned a little bit, but that's okay. Those bashes, good lord. Zara is like below half HP now because of that. But I really do think that he wants to try to go on mid at least 1 or 2 times, you know, give Scandal some breathing room. Because your puck is going to need a Blink Dagger, and he ain't going to get it if he's just getting camped by a Bane the entire early game.
And this is not a great matchup to fall behind in. Already a bit tricky for the puck with no way to easily remove refraction. So the pressure definitely leaves its mark. But as for Skylark up top in the darks here, like I said, ice cold, but he's benefited pretty well from this. Well on the way to his soul ring here. Just needs to finish the recipe about 10 gold off, and well, he does get hexed up. Have I jinxed him? There's a stun available. The blade break comes through. Skylark surge. Just barely gets away, but under pressure. So comparing the offlaners, Afterlife seems to be having a pretty good time of it as well. Slightly lower than CS, but he's putting the hurt on Madara. And keeps things close as the cast starts to bounce. Afterlife, is he going to get that time wall off? Oh, he does, but it only heals up a little bit of the damage. Can chase this one, get another crush up. Fairy Fire getting popped preemptively. Afterlife knows it's going to be close. If there's another bash, it should be a kill. Without it, he might just be able to undo the tower. He gets the best. The Hadouken, no more mana. Madara into the trees, barely surviving. Has the glowing blade. He keeps on running in. One last swing of that Battle Fury. Afterlife scores the first blood in the Bash Wars, and he's gonna maybe get a double kill as Spartan desperately winds his way through the trees. The creep army distracts Afterlife for just a moment, and that might be all he needs. Gonna head to the south, Spartan. Oh, it's close. Don't run the wrong way, my man. Oh, luckily no bash. He will live, and well, it's not over yet. Madara wants his vengeance now.
My god, dude.
What is happening?
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I think he's fine here. Yeah, he's just gonna time walk away. But that's gotta be so frustrating, because I think he actually bashed Madara too when he hit him, because I don't know if his auto does that much damage normally. And then he gets like a first hit, almost kills Spartan as well. Jesus. That is a lot of...
And of course he bashed him under the tower too, so Madara took a lot of damage off of that. Close call, but meanwhile it looks like there is an Enchantress smoke gank here top lane as Miposhka wraps around onto Skylark. Last time he barely survived, this time doesn't look like he's going to be so lucky. So good rotation there.
Yeah, it seems like even though Empire aren't necessarily getting the better of the farm, they're getting some done in the way of rotations. Their offlaner got a solo kill on a safe lane carry, which you don't really see as Void too often.
Yeah, and Madara doesn't like him very much. He's dove behind the tower here to extract some vengeance on Afterlife, but Afterlife is a bit too durable to kill off. Gets the crush off again, still mid, and Afterlife is camping between the towers. This is like some old school axe play. Gets the cast rotation in from Spartan, surprise, and they do get their sweet revenge. And TP actually getting cancelable towards the top room. More action breaking out. Maybe next time they have found him, and they've also found his ancient stack. I think the creeps might have been scouted there. Gets done up by the Centaur. Does have the brain set available. He wants that bounty rune. No, hope he denied that too. Traps coming out. TA unable to save. Maybe next time. Was trying for the Nightmare Deny. Doesn't manage to get it off. Already 3-1, but I mean, it feels like 30-10 with all the action we've seen so far.
Yeah, this is insane. There's just been a lot of close calls in the laning phase more than anything. Now we're actually starting to see some people die. I mean, Scandal still struggling to hit that level 6. He's not there yet, 6 minutes in. I suppose he does have pretty much everything he needs though in the super early game.
And now bottom, Afterlife gets scouted out here. They do not have mana for the crush, unfortunately, so he's able to time walk out. Otherwise, probably would have been a kill. But how do you get your puck back in the game at this point?
He just needs to TP and gank with coil. That's how you do it. You don't try to sit in the lane and farm, I think. If you have a smoke available on Empire, I think you just smoke with the Enchantress and then you just try to kill somebody. Afterlife is going to be 6 soon too, so ganking in the safe lane isn't out of the question. Normally Slardar is like a super tanky hero you don't want to try to go for, but when you have Chronosphere and coil, it's really good.
Speaking of that Chrono, debuts in the bottom lane, but Spartan coming from behind, the coil will come out. Follow this one up, and Madara hangs on through it. Maybe next time doesn't have a brain tap available. Might be able to finish off Afterlife. It's not quite enough damage. He gets up the time walk. Madara going to go down. First puck rotation does succeed. Committed a lot for that kill, but it's an important one on the Slardar. As this is all going on top lane, Skylark about to get swiped from behind. It looks like after Miposhka? No, couldn't quite track him down there. So your Darkseer will back off successfully.
Yeah, I mean,
but
that bottom
this
fight
is all
could
before
actually...
Thug moves.
Yeah, it could have gone worse because the Nightmare stopped the orb damage on one of the heroes. So if that orb actually hits, they have to commit less of the Slardar. Could have ended up being a double kill. So the Nightmare from the Bane actually ended up saving Spartan because they had to commit more on the Slardar to kill after the Nightmare came out. So all things considered, it was nice mitigation of losses there from Finem.
And with that, they do find an opening here on the top lane. Skylark gets stomped, but Ramses, he's already committed the healing ward. Didn't have mana for Blade Fury, nor did he have mana for the Omni Slash, so they get the tower. You mentioned the Juggernaut being a great pick for the pushing aspect the hero brings, and even just level 1 healing ward with the Ring of Akila enough to get that tower. So start here for Ramses, who has been very impressive in this qualifier. I think broke quite a few records on one of his earlier Slark games, and I mean, you can only imagine what this kid's going to be doing in a couple of years, because he's already playing at a true tier 1 level, and what is he, 16, 17?
Yeah, they just keep getting younger.
Makes me feel old, man.
Eventually we're going to be like Call of Duty, just have like 12-year-olds on pro teams or something. It's going to be insane. But yeah, he's definitely insane. Like, one of the best up-and-coming carry players for sure.
Yeah, you know, they might soon be wearing bibs and, you know, be needing rides, but the Dota is nothing to be sneezed at, as Empire is going to smoke. They head up the cliff and out down into the river. They want Thug, unfortunately he's already cleared out his Ancients, even if they get the kill, up to 2,000 gold. Doesn't quite have a Blink Dagger if that's what he wants to buy, and Empire unleashed the surprise upon him, and it will result in his demise, as Ramses gonna scout out Skylark, but Skylark a bit too tanky, so he's just gonna clear out this wave of the Blade Fury. More importantly, perhaps, they do get a ward down here. Sentry to block the Ancient stacks, an Observer to scout the TA's movements. Pretty good rotation there by Empire. And it was a Mithril Hammer purchased by that TA of Thug, so not gonna be rushing to Blink.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think with this lineup, the mass minus armor is really strong. You know, you take one good team fight, Madara has amp, you just go Roche. It's very fast, very easy. You take like no damage because of refraction too. The question is Empire going to give him that chance? They seem to be a little bit more proactive during the first 10 minutes of the game. You know, they got a 4-kill lead. Again, we talked about how they're not really farming well in the lanes, but they're still making stuff happen on the map. I think really what this game is going to boil down to is who's able to secure the first Roshan, and you know, after that Roshan, can we get some objectives? Because both teams, I guess they're about equal in terms of what they can do and high ground pushing and just overall trying to break base. But map control, I think, is where Empire shine.
Well, speaking of Empire, they have been scouted out here, creeping up on the bottom lane by that Radiant Observer ward. Wondering if they are going to commit for a potential kill. They want to use the first finger of death of the game, but this could get punished. TF Thug has rotated down, just baiting them in a bit. Madara kind of hugging near the tower. He's actually going to dodge the Chrono. He manages to get the armlet off, and then, well, let's see if he's going to toggle it back on and engage. He will do so the finger. Not enough to get the kill. Now South Spartan held back for the time being, but the Witch Doctor disabled through this, but they've managed to get 2 kills. South Spartan, he's gotten the job done, and now they chase onwards. Just a slight stun there, maybe next time. The foil breaks. Very patient stuff. Team Ad Finem, no casualties. Chrono blown, coil blown, and a 2-0 going their way. Even the finger committed for that.
They couldn't even kill the Slardar. That was so painful. I think he wanted to just try to get like the most efficiency out of the spear that he could, and putting it like as far behind to make sure that no one on Ad Finem could actually help the Slardar. But he was so concerned with that he just didn't hit the hero at all.
It was very unfortunate too, because Madara was easily able to live with the armor toggling at that point.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, can't see the forest through the trees or whatever. You go for the greedy play and you just end up not hitting anything.
I'm sure that's some dad wisdom of some kind.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Alright, Cass moving forward onto Kanar, but Dara just kind of wanted Afterlife too. He's going for the 2-hero crush. Gets hexed, won't get anything. So, Thug meanwhile very close to that Desolator. Already has picked up the Blightstone, has the first Mithril Hammer from earlier. With that, 104 CS. He is your leader in net worth, 6,200 gold to his name as they begin their siege. They know the Chrono's on cooldown. The coil has come back up, but the finger a long ways off. So free tower to Thug. With that, Desolator complete. 12 minutes in. This is kind of on the pace that we were seeing when TA was getting picked almost every game.
Yeah,
I don't know, 7 months ago.
When people were picking it, like after that phase, they weren't stacking for it. Oh, MNT could be in trouble.
Maybe next time. Oh, Omni Slash does come through the net there as well to get the spin off. Nice stun there by Kinar to help secure it. He will be the man to get the last stun. Unfortunately, oh, Madara whipping the crush as he chases that little line to the south. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Ramsey's taking the death ward, but he's got the healing ward backing him up. The counter ward plays from Safe or Bover. It ends up being a 1-for-1. They do lose the Lion, but they get the Bane as an exchange. That's pre-Deso. Now we're in the post-Deso era.
Yeah, this tower is probably a goner too. No coil again, 40 seconds left here for Scandal. This is a stage in the game where Ad Finem's lineup can really start to snowball. Because they're physical damage, they can push with the Deso on the TA, they can kill Roshan very easily. So Empire need to be very cautious about how they go about these next couple of engagements.
Yeah, with the Deso, they now already have minus 23 armor on anyone who they get the meld and the amp damage off on. That's gonna hurt.
Forcing objectives, I think, would be quite easy for Ad Finem too. Like, I was even thinking after they won the teamfight bottom, they could just immediately go for Roshan instead of even killing the tower, because Roshan's pretty weak at this stage in the game. And they have so much minus armor that they would kill him very fast, and obviously Sphere and Coil weren't available, so...
So if you're at Finem, you've been mentioning trying to walk into the Roche pit, like if the big ultimates are on cooldown. As for Empire, what's their game plan moving forward? They're up against a ton of physical damage. At Finem getting their kind of basic items here. Like what's the approach if you're Empire?
I think you just really want to fight. Like that is what their lineup is built for. Like Puck is great mid-game initiation. Scandal still needs his blink though.
Oh, they have found Afterlife. They're going to commit a grip here. There's nobody really to cancel this thing. Kanar slowly marching down the river, but it's far too late. And now Thug has the mobility to jump in. He's going to try to look for that splash on the Kanar. Great for the hero Coil to prevent the chase and cover the path of retreat. But unfortunately, with the Coil down, that's a freebie. Yeah, the Roshan will be theirs. Ad Finem going to march in. Try for a steal or any sort of contest. Kanar fit in like he wants to do so.
I mean, they don't have a Juggernaut, so if they're gonna go, they need him to TP. Okay, here
he is TPing, but it's gonna be pretty tough to get there in time. Orb comes in. Is he gonna jog to it? Oh, it's already too late. Age is now claimed by Thug, and the chase is on Ramses. Backing the hell away. Doesn't even have mana for an Omni Slash currently. They are moving in. Oh, okay. Well, that's an Omni Slash, but not the most effective as Thug. This is Ramses down. Kanar getting the Hex off. Remember, this is your Aegis carry. The TA still has some refraction. Only just now being broken through mostly. Fire. A very poor contest there at the Roche, and now the Coil and the Omni Slash both on cooldown.
I actually think Ad Finem could have gotten more from that. Like, surging the Witch Doctor forward was a cool idea, but I think a Nightmare would have been more, like, it would have been able to have the entire team catch up to the hero and actually just kill it, instead of just throwing out a cask and death warding just to get Omni Slash in the face. But yeah, all things considered, Ad Finem still walk away probably better off. And I would like to see them actually just pressure towers. Yeah, you're fighting into Coil, but Scandal still doesn't have Blink. He's super close. I think that they maybe are not necessarily super used to playing with a TA on their team. Like, I know they've been running it in this qualifier, but prior to that, they never played it. Like, they never played TA. Like, maybe Thug has some pub experience, but the hero can actually just snowball so unbelievably hard, and I feel like they're kind of undervaluing that a little bit.
And this is a pretty damn good TA game. Like, there is the Chrono for some good control and the Coil, but as far as just pure damage to break through the refraction, it's really just one Blade Fear. That's basically it.
Yeah,
so.
That's exactly why the hero is so, like, unbelievably strong even at this stage in the game. Against Enchantress, you know, most cores are really scared because Impetus pierces BKB, but You know, if you have BKB on TA, you don't care because nothing else breaks refraction on that team, and Edge can hit you like a million times and still deal 0 damage.
I don't think Miposhka will be getting off a million auto attacks this game.
Not literally a million, but you know what I mean.
Maybe one before Thug decapitates him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Thug, he is rapidly bringing this tower down to the top lane. Afterlife working on bottom, and 5 heroes for Ad Finem rotate in. They also have the Skylark mech now. Has had a pretty quiet game in the offlane here. Didn't have the easiest time of it. 0-1-1, but now they have the double heal with the Witch Doctor level 2 Voodoo, as well as the mech, and they are going to look to push with it. While Empire playing spread the map type offense and just looking to dodge the fight.
Yeah, it makes sense though. You don't want to fight into the kind of power spike that Ad Finem has going for themselves right now. Blink Armlet on the Slardar, Blink Decibel with an Aegis on the TA. It's just better to let your objectives, like, you can trade them, but going for a direct confrontation against Ad Finem right now is like almost suicide. Considering the fact that your own team doesn't even have a mech carrier, so you have nothing to offset that. You're hoping the healing ward does the work for you in fights that Juggernaut has.
Man, this could be a quick one, Ad Finem say. We're marching down the top lane, we ain't going back. Where you at, Empire? Come home and defend. Not get on the front door. A Thug looks to break through, and Empire are going to have to turn tail, back off to the base. They have the Chrono, but Thug has the Aegis. At any moment, he could look to jump in here. He does have a Blink Dagger as well to call his own. Just now, a Mantis style completed the Juggernaut. Ad Finem, looking at the Aegis here, they've got 2 minutes to go. Plenty of time to siege. And Empire are going to have to defend, but how do you engage into this? Where do you start the fight?
That is the question. I think you have to go for the backline, actually. I think you try to have to go for Spartan or MNT. Because going for the TA is just going to result in the supports getting all their spells off, so the puck has to look to be able to jump in the back of the fight. It's going to be hard, though, because the positioning that Ad Finem have is really good.
I guess in good news for Empire, while this was happening, the tier 1 mid did go down. So the creep's working in their favor, but Ad Finem, they're going to continue pressure. PA already bought out. Ogre Club picked up, so even if she dies, no big deal as far as economy goes. And they do manage to get off a Sunblade here to follow this. Defensive sleep there. The imps come through. They might be able to kill off Thug for free. That's an Aegis gone. Nothing committed, essentially. And they can set up with a Chrono unless Madara interrupts. He gets off the crush. There's the blink back. Thug, not the longest blink back, and Afterlife wants to go, but he is going to get caught out there by a quick grip, immediately cancel. Now Afterlife chronoing Thug in position as Ramses engages onto the backline. Did pop the outside for this one. Good 2 hero stun. Logging him in position. Kane from distance, but all of that Finem still survive. Finally, they're going to lose the Bane and the Witch Doctor just like that, and they will be forced back. Juggernaut maybe continuing pursuit here, but Afterlife has him on the run. Madara gets the 2 hero crush. Ad Finem unable to get much done with this first stages. In fact, giving up quite a bit of golden experience. I mean, you mentioned it, Andy, that they struggle to break the base a lot of the time, and they have met their maker here against a very strong high ground defense.
Yeah, I mean, they committed quite a bit. They almost got the tier 3 tower down, lost 2 supports, lost the Aegis. But I think in an open map situation that Ad Finem probably still have the advantage in the fights. It's just about like breaking that initial tower, because even once the tower is dead, you can kind of get some concave going and hit the barracks, and it's harder for Empire to commit to that engagement. But for now, breaking high ground prior to 20 minutes against Chronosphere and Coil still proves to be relatively difficult. And I think Thug losing the Aegis without them having to commit a single ulti was kind of a problem too. And then their disengage was a little bit sloppy. They couldn't decide if they wanted to go back in or if they wanted to back off. It's just like, having watched this team like a bunch over the last 2 weeks, it feels like they still kind of struggle with that thing.
Yeah, maybe where they want that defensive, support item to help keep someone alive as well. As if they had, like, say, a 4-staff there, Thug might have lived with the Aegis, but don't have the farm just yet. Maybe next time, just sitting on the cloak. Got Spartan, only the arcane boots for now. So, Ad Finem moving up into the Empire jungle. Under cover of smoke, Madara leads the way. And he's closing in on a crush. The smoke actually breaks here. He does get it off, but it's actually almost too far away from the team.
You got the bash!
He gets the bash, the cast comes through, but before he's able to time leap down to the low ground. So, barely surviving that. No, it's with the lucky dash.
Yeah, almost. I think if, he wasn't super fast and Witch Doctor was super slow, they might have actually been able to make that gank happen, but just a little overzealous. The funny part was, I think when the smoke broke, the Slardar wasn't actually even in vision because he was like walking through that choke point.
Madara, he TP'd in, but there's a ward behind the tower planted down by Empire. The Omni Slash clears up the Slardar. Another big kill. Ramsey's blade cheering, but does get gripped. And now they commit a death port. They want the Juggernaut. Thug gonna join this one as well, trying to isolate the real hero. He will do so quickly. Bursts him down, and that will force Scandal to back off. Blinking and orbing out. He retreats. 1 for 1. Also a tower down, and that again goes the way of the Dire. So 3 towers in fairly quick succession here for Empire, who have brought themselves back into this game, actually holding a gold lead now. 2,000 experience, a 3,000 advantage for them. Right back in it.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder if Finem wouldn't have been better off just trying to push the remaining 2 tier 2s and like just hold the map control over Empire instead of trying to force high ground with the Aegis. Like they went from feeling a little bit indecisive about taking fights to just, screw it, let's push a tier 3. You know, it's like there's no continuity between those decisions. It's like one says that you feel like you're weak and the other one says that you're way stronger than you actually are at that point in the game. So just a little bit of decision making problems from Finem right now, and because of that Empire are just pulling ahead in the economic game.
Yeah, I mean, arguably probably the biggest match this team has ever played. Like, as you mentioned, they were a we play, but when you're this close to going to the major,
oh yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of
saying,
pressure.
You know, those kind of mistakes definitely cost you, because when you have like 2 tier 2 towers that are easy to take, and you're on Radiant as well, so like those towers in the offlane actually mean a lot more because of Roshan, as opposed to like your Radiant offlane towers, which literally do nothing. Like no one even cares about that thing. It's just it's a big difference when you can make the distinction of getting all that map control and then trying to go high ground for like, what, 2 minutes straight? They pretty much sat there, maybe even 3, and then they failed the high ground push and lost heroes instead of going for the safer option.
Uh-oh. Empire sweeping around through the river. Madara is going to get caught out here. Maybe next time with the defensive sleep for the time being. And now they are going to engage. Deathport gets committed, but Kinar there to quickly cancel it with the Hex as they chase onward. Scandal try to juke away from the rest of that Venom. He drags him back, and he will look for the escape. The Yule Scepter now committed. Has the Blink Dagger. Orb. No! Just gone! As Thug will quickly clean him up. My goodness. 7-9 the score, but with the puck down, the coil and the chrono committed, this will be a free Roche number 2.
Yeah, this is good stuff. That's the kind of team fight we're expecting to see on the open map. The TA is just unbelievably strong against Empire's heroes, and since Thug is also making his way towards BKB, I don't think we're going to be seeing that kind of overcommitment that ends up getting his Aegis taken away, and then, you know, Empire able to just follow it up and kill him straight up. Because even if they sphere him, and he has BKB on, I don't think they actually kill him, because the only damage they have is what, like Ench and some maybe Juggernaut Omni if he gets lucky.
Yeah, especially if he's like toggled the armlet on, then you've got to deal with that +5 armor as well, so
yeah,
very difficult for someone like the Juggernaut to kill him. BKB now up on the TA. This is gonna really make him a lot harder to burst as well. Last time they were able to chip him down with, I think it was like some blade fury damage, a nuke or 2 from the Lion, but now Thug gets a whole lot more durable in this, what could be the upcoming siege.
I think they just go bottom, actually. The lanes are getting pushed towards their towers. I think going tier 3 again is too fast. When your lanes are in like this type of position, it's just, you're giving away even more. Because Empire got their tier 1 mid and the tier 2 and the safe lane solely by like creeps just pushing in, and Finem refusing to go back. I'm just happy to see them not make the overcommitment that they did before.
Yeah, they've got a lot of time here. Still a solid 4 minutes to go on that Aegis. And by the time that it expires, we might see more items. Madara could well be closing in on his own BKB, already has the Ogre Club. They already have the one on Thug that was previously mentioned. Witch Doctor, not too terribly far off of what could be the Aghanims or the Aether Lens. We'll see what he wants to complete here. And Skylark has the Blink now, so not sure he'll get anything else before the push if they go for it, but even just one of those items could make a big difference in the upcoming siege.
Yeah, I think the Blink Darkseer would be nice if you could potentially land like a Slardar Crush or something, but that's quite difficult to do. The execution required is fairly high. But yeah, I agree. I think these are pretty much the items that they're going to be stuck with outside of maybe the BKB and the Slardar that you had already mentioned. That's pretty much the only one that's going to be like a big power spike here for Finem. But the big thing is, you're going to have 2 10-second BKBs potentially with an Aegis, and that is really hard for Empire to cope with. I think they pretty much have to stay on their side of the map if Finem start to pressure and those items come up.
Finem are feeling a little more confident now with that extra life. Madara gonna sprint down the bottom lane. Kochka just eyeing him through the trees. really want to engage. Maybe hoping to push this wave out with his friendly Hellbear Smasher if possible. Afterlife will back off to the Ancient. So, looks like the Faceless Void will be picking up a Yasha here. We have seen that Manta Diffusal build a little more popular, at least in this patch. Thoughts on the Void this game? Is it his job to transition to more of a carry?
Yeah, I think so.
Foil gets dropped by Scandal. He orbs. He doesn't actually jump to the orb. They know he's up there though. They are going to throw the Paladin, the Death Ward as well. Be trouble. The Death Ward's still going. Phase Shift going to end. Crush from above as Madara will finish him off. Ouch. But yeah, what do you think about the Void this game? So needs to be more of a carry for the team.
Yeah, I mean, Aghanim's got nerfed. It's still okay. Diffusal Manta is the build that I personally think is one of the better ones, because even if you don't kill a hero inside of the sphere, with the Diffusal buff to melee, you pretty much just mana burn the crap out of them anyway, and they're kind of useless after the sphere wears off. But if he's not dealing a decent amount of damage inside a sphere, you know, Juggernaut doesn't have the best synergy with Chrono in general. Like, you're hoping that you get an Omni Slash, I guess, inside of it, and he probably picks up a Blink Dagger as his next item just to help with that a bit. But yeah, carry items, I think, for Afterlife.
Alright, well, it's going to be a while before he has them, and at Finem, possibly looking to head in now. They are closing in on the data list for Thug. But he won't have it for this push, doesn't even hold the Chrysalis currently. Instead, that bottom lane gets pushed in by the Enchantress, but not enough. Thug has broken through, tier 3 down. Empire still waiting for that big high ground hold, as the gold grab has won about 4,000 in their favor. Back to their old lead, which is fairly minimal, and I think they know it. They are being safe, they want to push these lanes out, they do not want to risk forfeiting any sort of objective or free tower damage to Empires. Empires smoke up, moving in through their own woods, but do they have any targets visible? Currently this is a blind smoke. No heroes on the map for the side of Ad Finem, and Empire aren't going to end up locking down the target.
It's okay, they just want to reestablish their side of the map. Like, normally when you smoke up...
mid lane almost got caught.
Yeah, well, usually, like, if the Lion had Blink, maybe, but King R is not having the greatest game. He is forced into a Ghost Scepter. Not really the best position to be in as a support line, because without that initiation, like, normally you might be able to jump the Bane or, you know, catch out Slardar if he goes in without BKB, but that really hurts the Lion, actually. We haven't really talked much about him, but... Empire is still pretty much only looking at the Void and the Puck for their forms of initiation, and Ad Finem with their BKB is now out on both the Slardar and the TA. This next engagement is going to be really rough.
You know, I want to ask you, Andy, since we've seen a lot of these games that don't end by 30 minutes go like 50, 60, do you favor either team more if it does go super late game? Is it more of an execution-based game at that point, or how do you view the lines matching up?
It's execution, I think. Because the TA is always going to be super scary, but okay, Afterlife.
Afterlife! Whoa, boy!
He's manly. I mean, it worked. Scared Ad Finem off.
It's like, if that Hammerhead Shark Man is that aggressive, he must know something I don't.
Yeah, but as far as the late game compositions, it's going to be down to like Chronosphere placement and whatnot. Because a well-placed sphere in a 50-minute game can just end the game, you know? And you just have that kind of power as a Void when you actually have the items to back it up. But like we mentioned, Afterlife is still, you know, kind of far away from having the item progression that maybe he himself would like. And it just, I think, boils down to like two things: Roshan fights and, you know, Empire's execution. I think Ad Finem's lineup is a bit easier to run. But if you can land the good coil and the good sphere, then yeah, Empire have a shot late game as well.
8-9 the score. It has been a very tactical, almost chess-like mid-game after a pretty crazy start. A lot of tower dives, a lot of heroes living on just slivers of HP, but not too many large-scale engagements since then. Mostly just Ad Finem taking objectives, Empire waiting for them to overextend and spreading the map, and Empire has managed to keep it very neck and neck throughout this time. Their Juggernaut for Ramses, he's completed a Blink Dagger now, up to another 2,500 gold on top of it. So continues to head towards the late game as far as his farm progression goes. And it looks like Ad Finem, they will be waiting for the next Roshan, or at least a gank opportunity, and that might come now as they see Ramses marching down the bottom lane. Madara's even invis, protection not here. So this should be an easy setup. They're gonna find the Juggernaut. The Samurai gets caught, and it's 2 shots. He's down. Damn.
Okay. Turns out level 3 or level 2. That's not even level 3 amp. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, that he exploded. That is a ridiculous amount of damage.
That is what happens if you get caught.
Yeah.
Don't leave the base. Stay out. Just chill there. We'll come for your wreck soon enough.
Yeah, it's interesting that both teams are more or less playing this blind. You kind of mentioned it earlier when Empire were moving out on the map, but Afterlife?
Well, he's gonna go for South Spartan here. Don't think he really wants to commit a chrono on that.
Yeah, that space created. Made everyone at Finem walk back for like 2 seconds.
They are still pushing though. And, well, item progression, I guess worth keeping an eye on that. Madara does have his BKB now as well. So up to 2300, so. That and the Daedalus on Thug. These are some big new items for Finem, and they want to use them.
This is one-shot territory on the Templar Assassin. We saw how fast that Juggernaut went down from a meld and like 2 auto attacks. Anyone else on that team of Empire dies in like 1 hit.
Yeah, that's a Jug with 16 armor as well. I mean, he's reasonably durable for this stage, but reasonable is not enough in the face of unreasonable damage.
Yeah, it looks like Finem just want to make sure they can get Rush. I really like the fact that they're being patient here. Like, some teams might go for the high ground and say, you know, we're stronger. They're deciding to make sure they push out the lanes. These TPs could actually... This could actually hurt them, because they're actually so far away now from the Roshan pit that if it spawns, Empire are going to be able to run there faster. So they're going to need heroes like standing in the area. Like Spartan and Skylark need to push out this lane and just get the hell out. Yeah, okay, Thug's already making his way across the map. I think he realizes that it's going to be up very soon.
So Afterlife does close in now on the Manta style. Looks like he can complete it after this camp. Slowly working towards the late game void damage that we discussed. Obviously not going to be hitting like a TA, but has the benefit of the Chronosphere to set things up. So along with that, the Enchantress, no real item progression for some time, has a Dragonlance, a Ghost Scepter, has had those for a bit. Still no sign of the Aghanims, which has been less popular, or even the Hurricane Pike, which we've seen more of in this patch. Just slow item progression, really, for a lot of these Empire supports and utility heroes.
It's mainly because, like, Finem have a relatively good amount of catch at this stage of the game, so going out onto the map alone feels super scary. So heroes like Enchantress and Lion, you know, even the Juggernaut, we saw how fast Ramses can die. It's like, no one is safe if you don't have the vision.
Oh,
so
they want to fight this?
Yeah, this is going to be really important for both teams, whoever wins this fight.
Could be a disaster for Finem if they get caught out in the pit, and Scandal's going to engage onto Thug right away, has the BKB, but the Chrono's there, he didn't get it off, they vacuumed 2 out, but it's already too late, they brought him down, the TA has been slayed. Spartan doing good work there with the Death Ward, but it's not enough, they deal with him, they're going to finish him off too, the TA buyback now comes out, and Madara engages, pops his BKB, but doesn't have his sister, his friend to help him out, maybe next time in the trees right now, heading to the south, a Blake crush forward on the Kanar, Bashful decapitate him, and Thug looking for Afterlife. It wants to send him right there. The buyback committed. It looks like they should probably be able to get this Roshan now, as Miposhka in the trees will successfully TP out. Skylark unable to lock him down there, but no Chrono now, no Omni or Coil or Finger. Maybe Afterlife with some cheeky business though. I mean, he made vision for the illusions. He could go for this. Does he want to risk it? He blinks it. He does not get it. He just beats a kill. But you can't really fault him for trying there.
Yeah, that crush. That was some next level play actually from Madara. Like, he knew that that void was coming in. That's how confident he was in getting that crush off. So yeah, going for the play I think is the play. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
And now Thug has BKB, 10 seconds, and they've got the Aegis to go high ground.
Yeah, this is going to be rough for Empire, stopping this. No ultimates available.
Grab a Diffusal Blade here on the Juggernaut, Ramses, so basically whatever damage he can get right now. But at Finem, they're waiting for their Witch Doctor, actually. Saw Spartan just marching down mid, dragging creeps with him, a parade of enemies.
Yeah, he's pushing mid and freaking bottom at the same time.
Yeah, mid is going to push out. They might be able to potentially get 2 racks off of this. But still that top lane, the one that's actually exposed, and not the lane that Finem is pressuring currently, just too far away from the Roche pit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to make the transition all the way up there, but it's still okay because they're going to keep Empire contained a little bit. Only person who's outside of the base right now is the Jug, who has Blink Dagger, but he doesn't have a TP, so he can't actually go that far away. I think he needs to settle his Aquila and just carry a TP scroll, otherwise he'll never be able to pressure that lane. Okay, there we go. He just did it.
Alright, get off the phone, Andy.
What the
play their own game.
Dude, I'm trying to help him out, you know? And he knew though. He knew immediately. He's like, oh, I can't actually leave base because I just don't have a TP scroll. So
rigged.
Yeah.
Rigged.
Good thing we have that, what is it, 5 minutes
delay?
away?
I'm not sure how that works, but we're in the lobby technically. For us, there is no.
Yeah,
But
sure.
they did get a scan there at Finem. Thought they might actually try to jump, just to quite have the gap close. What do you think about, how much do you feel scan has changed the game? I've seen a couple of big scans over the past like week or so, but for every one of those there's like 20 or 30 that don't really do much.
I think it's like a 50-50. So you have these situations where the game is really even, and then the scans become super important because it can either scout a smoke that could potentially turn the game, or you could use it to dodge a gank, right? And in that sense, those types of games, scan's really good. And then there's the other situation where you're super far ahead, and you just have total map control, and then scans are only good for the team who are losing. Because the team that's winning doesn't need to scan because you have map control, you know? So I think that the more of the map that you actually have for yourself, the worse scan becomes. But in even games, and in games where you're behind, it's incredibly useful.
Yeah, like you can imagine like taking to the extreme if they're like completely penned in their base. So you don't need scan to know that.
Yeah, exactly.
You could already tell. So that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, I've seen some games where a scan actually does a lot of work and helps the team dodge a fight that they're going to lose, and alternatively I've seen a game where not a single scan does anything. But I think it's just because it's such a new thing where teams it's not second nature to them yet, but it probably will be by the time, even the major itself rolls around.
Yeah, I know, I think it was Blaze was saying one of the teams in SEA was just repeatedly like scanning directly on top of the Roche pit, so clearly had not read the notes on the noob.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even the teams that have, it's going to take some fine tuning to really calibrate and know how to take full advantage of it. Oh, they decide to push top instead. After all said and done, they chipped away at the bottom tower. Their Aegis still sitting on about a minute and a half here with the cheese and the new heart on Slardar, and they go. Working on the range rack. Scandal with the blink silence does connect on Thug. Force out that BKB while we see elsewhere Afterlife is pushing in the bottom lane slowly, but it's only the illusions of a Faceless Void who doesn't have a whole lot of damage, so I don't think this will draw Finem back on its own. As Scandal engages, Shivas gets popped, the Imp's coming in, Madara so damn tanky though. Really only getting tickled by that, but this Void's doing quite a bit now as he brings the real hero up on the hill as well, forces out a glyph. Finem, very hesitant. Haltingly trying to push in, but they get drawn back by just a lonely Faceless Void.
Yeah, it's one of the problems. When you walk around the map as 5, you get punished for it. Like, Empire are not the type of team who are just gonna let you walk around 5-man and just be like, oh yeah, it's fine, we're not gonna split push. I mean, this Void has Blink Dagger Manta. Catching him is really annoying. So Afterlife is kind of the guy you're looking to now outside of the Juggernaut to be that kind of space creator. And just make it so Finem can't freely siege the high ground whenever they have the opportunity. Because, this is all just time that the Aegis is being eaten here.
Oh, Ramses, this is the opening they were looking for, and Finem. They finished him off real quick.
Yeah, it was super greedy to be out that far. I mean, we talk about lack of vision in this game. It feels like a very different series after having watched Vega versus No Diggity, where there were just wards everywhere, like the entire game, for both teams. And it's just like, this is the opposite, right? It's like...
Everyone's in perpetual darkness.
Yeah, it's like playing with Braille. That's how you see the minimap. Just got some freaking dots down there. But, yeah, it's a really good pickoff. Gonna force Ramsey's buyback here, most likely. Or wait, they don't have Spartan. Maybe they won't force it.
Yeah, Spartan's actually... And with the Ags, he becomes a huge part of their team fight. He brought 3 heroes low last time near the Roche pit.
Yeah.
They are, once again, a bit hesitant.
They lost their Aegis on Thug, so...
Yeah, you can see Spartan, like, he started to walk towards top, then he comes back to bottom. And the team decides to go. They glimmer Thugged in. Then they back the hell away. Yeah.
It's kind of a tense situation.
You mentioned they're being patient. At this point, it almost feels like they're just nervous as well. Like, they just don't see that good opening to go in.
I can see that, honestly. Because it's... it's, like you said, probably the biggest scale tournament that they've ever had the opportunity to play in. Like, just qualifying for the major itself. And, they placed, tied with Vega in their group. So, they did really well. But I think now it's like, double a limb, you lose a series or 2 and you're out. Can definitely be stressful.
Well, Finem, I guess over the past couple months, known for usually either closing games out earlier struggling to end them later on. Can they get that monkey off their back here against a strong team in Empire who showed that they're capable of taking down some of the best in the world with the 2 wins over Secret back at ESO in Manila. Now they smoke Empire. They're going to make a bold maneuver into the ad Finem jungle. Might catch somebody out here, but Madara's in good position to reveal this one as Afterlife jumps in. Doug's going to blink away. There's a crit. Beautifully placed by maybe next time. All the way back. Very far out of position for anyone to catch him. And Doug now pops the CKB. There's the crunch from Madara. Follow up into Kanar. Quickly bringing him down to Puck. For the time being kept out of it, and it will be ignored as they run down Ramses, dealing with him with ease. Miposhka will be next. That score, a very big gamble by Empire, is met with the full might of that Finem. And they will clean up.
And that's what happens when you smoke with no vision.
And make it a full 5-man one.
Yeah. Oh, there's a gem. They just don't care about it. Alright. I'm just gonna keep walking down mid, force the buybacks. There's only 2 left on the side of Empire. I don't know, man. I don't think Empire had to go for that play. That was like super YOLO.
And the smoke broke. They didn't really have any vision. Then they still went in. So
yeah,
risky maneuver, but it does not pay off. As the buybacks get forced out now, that is a total of 3 buybacks for Team Empire just to hold on to their base. The item progression absolutely blunted now. And Finem moving forward. 2 Yules up Madara here. Thug no BKB for about 10 seconds time, but doesn't really feel like Empire want to engage on him. Chronosphere is available, but he's not an easy target. And, well, Madara, all he sees are easy targets. He jumps in, gets up the crush, forces up the Kinar, goes up there, now chases on with the Chronosphere there. Only catch out the Bane, though, not the best. And meanwhile, Madara and Skylark just freely running through the back lane. Just here getting aggressive. Doug being controlled for the time being, Hex and Impaled, but Madara just soloing this Juggernaut, this 1-position carry, can't quite finish him off, but does a ton of damage, while Thug says, I want the melee rack. That's in him, getting a little disjointed in this fight, but they had to cheese Madara. That's going to keep him in fighting shape. Thug goes back to the well, grabs the Kanar kill in the end, and Madara just single-handedly fighting the entire Empire squad, driving them all the way from top to bottom and just carving a path through their base. Another crush, manning up. This fish is way too tough. They can't chew him up. In fact, he will devour all of Empire. 4 down. It's going to be 5 if they don't GG out quickly enough, and they won't. Thug ends it the way it began, with Tie Blades to the face. Empire, they just did not have the answers this game.
I feel like they were too reliant on their ultimates to be able to win fights at some point. Like, that Slardar was so unbelievably tanky. What do you have, like, almost 3,500 health with Armlet Heart? Like, he didn't have AC or anything, but it doesn't matter, because a lot of the damage on Empire that they were doing is like, you know, you got the Pier from Ensh, you got some magical burst between the Puck and the Lion. It was a pretty decent split, so I like the itemization in that game of